Hey, what's up guys? It's gootecks. I'm here with Yu Namba, who's the Senior Project Manager here for Persona 4 Arena here at Atlus. Yu, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for the opportunity.
And today we're going to be going through some of the basics and fundamentals of Persona 4. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what makes air dashers different than, let's say, Street Fighter games? Because, you know, for us, like I come from a Street Fighter background, and, you know, a lot of our audience is more focused on Capcom games, but I know there's a lot of people that are really excited for this game, and but they're not really quite sure how to get into it and like what makes it different. I mean, you know, we see a lot of dashing and air dashing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, you know, if you're talking strictly on the ground, this game is, you know, reminiscent of, I guess, like CVS2, where, you know, it has a little bit of that SNK style where you can just keep dashing forward or, you know, go backwards and just hop back and whatnot. But the thing about the Arc System Works made games are the things about, you know, a lot of movements you can do in the air. You have the double jump, you have the super jump, of course, and then, you know, as you mentioned earlier, the air dashes and air back dashes. Now, it gives you more mobility than just remaining on the ground and just limited to just, you know, jumps and whatnot. And to further that, there are many attacks that you can actually jump cancel out of. So even if the opponent blocks your attack, you can actually like jump backwards and, like, you know, continue on giving pressure as you continue attacking, or, you know, mix them in your combo somehow. Now,
so does that mean that in general, like, let's say air dasher games are more offense heavy? They're a little bit faster?
Yeah, they're definitely faster paced, yes. For, you know, situations where in like in a Street Fighter game, like, you know, you would think that opponent has to do something to get close to the, you know, to the other person. You know, all you need is like a jump forward with an air dash and just, you know, close in like just like that.
As opposed to just like, oh, I'm like walking towards you, or then maybe, you know, we're playing footsies, walking back and forth. You can just air dash forward and just go in.
And of course, you know, you can always, you know, like dash forward on the ground and then, you know, go low. You know, same deal. If you air dash, you know, you're just doing an air attack. So whatever you do in the air is gonna be, you know, like you have to stand block them. Whether you be like crouching, standing, or in the air, you have 4 buttons to attack. You mainly use 3 normally, with the A button being a weak attack, B button being a strong attack, and C button, you know, kind of like an extension of that where you use your persona to do like a bigger attack. And you can chain them, ABC like that, or like, you know, mix, like stand, high, low, like that. Now, the D button is special for each character. It kind of like does different things for each character, but for character Yu, what he does is send out his persona, and at that time, you know, he can move together with them. So you can have kind of like a combination, like string of attacks, because you know, if you can plan it. Same thing for in the air, you can, like, you know, send the persona going down with a little bit of delay right there. So you can set yourself up on a like high-low mix-up and whatnot. For Mitsuru, you know, her D sends out the whip that freezes the opponent, and if you hit the D again, you'll actually like bring him back to her.
Right.
There are other characters such as Akihiko, where hitting the D button kind of like pulls the opponent towards him, kind of like Seth in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, like the tandem.
Or like Kanji, where, you know, he'll send out like a lightning bolt from far away, so that, you know, people who think, you know, oh, he's a grappler, he's kind of slow, you know, kind of thinking that you'll be safe and you're going kind of far away, you know, Kanji can just nail you with the lightning bolt, like, you know, shock you, and then you'll be. You know.
Yeah, it seems like some of the personas have abilities that kind of compensate for the character's weakness in and of itself, right? Like Kanji, you know, you can't just run away from him because he can call lightning, and Akiko can suck him in because he's like, you know, he wants to be close because he's a boxer, right? Or, you know, So that's interesting, very interesting that there's that balance that kind of compensates for characters' weaknesses.
This game is quite, I should say, each character in this game has a very unique play style. Maybe not as much as how Arc did with their Blaze Blue series, but still, you have to learn each character or the one character that you want to play, and pretty much like specialize in it because again, like the D buttons like personal attack, like it's not like like for every character it does the same exact thing. For different characters, the buttons have like different functions and whatnot, so you gotta learn all that.
Cool. All right. So why don't we talk a little bit then about some of the other things that are unique to Persona? I mean, we can get into like air dash offense and all that stuff a little bit later. But when I first picked up the game, I was a little overwhelmed with how many command normals there were and how many other options there were. I mean, all from 4 buttons, because with Street Fighter games, we have like 3 on top and 3 on the bottom, but you guys managed to pack a lot into 4 buttons. So why don't we start with, I guess, the top 2. Okay. So weak A and weak Persona.
So with the combination of these 2 buttons, you can do a lot of different movement options. If you stand up and press these 2 buttons together, you do what is called an evasive action, where you move forward a certain amount of distance, and in the middle of it, you're pretty much invincible to everything except for a throw. Now, there is a little bit of vulnerability at the very, very beginning and towards the end, where you can get hit out of it, and if so, I believe it'll be a counter. But if somebody's trying to pressure you with like a projectile or whatever, or if you know that the opponent's about to like uppercut you or something, for example, you can just do the evasive action to move out of the way, and then go behind their back and just hit them.
All right, so maybe you can try hitting me out of.
Like that. See how it said counter right there? I caught you on the tail end of the evasive action. And once you get the counter, you get more, well, the attacking side gets more frame advantage.
Nice. Okay, so if you're coming at me, like if you come and attack me, then I can just air dash through as long as I'm already starting when you're coming down, right? So if you like air dash towards me with like jumping A or something, okay. And oops.
Hold on. Yeah.
I see. Okay, and what about if you're crouching?
Now, when you crouch and hit these 2 buttons together, you do a small hop. You don't control the direction of the hop. Whether you hold forward down or backwards down, you always hop a little bit forward. And you can do an attack not immediately after you hop, but as you come down. So there's a little bit of delay, but it's a good way to catch the opponent off guard when they're focusing on your crouch attacks or something.
Yeah, it's like okay, there we go. I have to hit B really early if I want to do the hop attack into B, but I can do it a little bit later with A. So what would that be useful for?
Again, let's say you're pressing the person, forcing them on the crouch block and whatever, and suddenly, oops, you go, and then go overhead and into a combo.
So I could, let's say, oh, okay. So let's say that I have you like in the corner, and I'm like A hop, oops, A. Oh, it's like you can't cancel.
Yeah.
You have to wait for it to finish, and then.
There you go.
Okay, so like A, wait a second. Oops. A, wait a second. Jumping A for like the overhead.
Or if you want to, you can start with like a chain, end with a low attack, and then.
Gotcha. Okay. Now what about A and B?
Oh, wait, hold on. There's one more thing that you can do with A and C buttons, and that's in the air. You don't see this often in a fighting game, but pressing these two buttons in the air lets you turn around real quick. So what happens is if you jump over someone and press a button, you'll face towards their back, and you can direct your attack that way.
So it's like a manual cross-up.
Pretty much, yes.
So if I air dash towards you, right, and then I try to hit you with jumping B, then it won't work because it'll just go over.
Exactly.
But if I air dash and then aerial turn and then hit B, then I'll be able to cross you up.
And since Mitsuru's air B is so long, it makes it even easier for you to do techniques like that.
Now, is there a trick to air dashing? Because this is like so. I see lots of players like air dash really low to the ground, but when I do it, I'm like still high up in the air.
Yeah, I mean the mechanics of air dash is pressing forward direction twice in the air. So technically, if you want to do a low air dash, you can do a diagonally jumping forward, and then suddenly finishing off with one more tap in the front. That.
Because the up forward counts as the first
one of
forward.
the diagonal. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. There we go. That's a little bit easier, but it's still going to take some practice, I can see. But yeah, so the aerial turn can also be useful after recovery. Like if you recover in the air, and then sometimes they'll like try to cross you up on the other side. When you're like all the way up here, and then you turn around, then you can kind of hit them on the way down to prevent them from like keeping their offense going.
Yeah,
right?
That's very true. Especially when you get like not way high up in the air, and then like the opponent for some reason has like gone way past you, and if you have some kind of a projectile weapon or attack, or an attack that brings you down to the ground real fast. For example, this guy has this move right here. If you do, oops. See how you can like switch around and you can come down?
Huh. Oh, okay. So like for Mitsuru, then I could come instead of
Exactly.
Okay. So I can come down with my persona that way. Interesting. Okay, what's next?
Okay, now let's go to A and B together. When standing up, it initiates this one attack called an all-out attack. Now this comes out a little bit slow, but it is an overhead, so you do need to stand block. And once it connects, you can keep hitting the A and B buttons together to extend the damage. You can go anywhere from, I don't know, like 1 hit if you don't tap the button at all the way up to 16 hits. However, if you stop at 15 and press either the C button or the D button, the C button launches the guy up in the air. The D button knocks the guy over to the wall.
Oh, okay.
But
switch sides.
if you do it not on the 15th hit, the player will be able to recover pretty early on.
Ah, okay.
But if you do it exactly on the 15th hit, then what's called a fatal counter happens. And during that time, it's basically like an extended counter state where you get lots of frame advantage. So
Gotcha.
you can connect more attacks into a combo.
So is there a trick to getting the correct number of hits?
There's a lot of different methods that people tell others to do, but I think it's just finding something that works best for you. I heard some people say after you hit A and B together like 6 or 7 times, and then stop to automatically go into that 15th hit. I watch the screen and kind of like time it a little bit, and let go when I think it's about 15, like that.
Huh. Okay, so it actually does make a difference whether you're hitting A and B or just A or just B, right?
Yeah, personally, I like hitting A and B together at the same time, as opposed to like one after the other. But again, that might be personal preference. Maybe some people will have better timing with A and B alternate.
So why would you want to do the launcher instead of the? I mean, is it a wall bounce? It's not a wall
Yes,
bounce.
it will be if you get the fatal counter.
Oh, okay.
And in that case, because they're so low in the ground or low to the ground, you'll be able to do a different kind of combo as opposed to knocking the guy up into the air.
Because some characters are, let's say, would have a more effective air combo as opposed to like a wall bounce combo.
Yeah, it all depends on the character, and it's up to each person's experimentation. But and of course, the wall bounce, in order to do it, you have to be right next or pretty close to the wall in order to do it. So it becomes more situational than just going to the launcher combo.
Ah, I see. Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna need to practice this. Okay, what's next?
Now, for the same button, the A and B buttons, but if you do it on the crouch, you do a sweep where you have to crouch block. Some people, let's see, for example, the character Yu that I'm playing right now, he'll be able to cancel that into a move like that. Let's see.
So I mean, how are sweeps used differently in this game? Because like in Street Fighter, you're kind of just like walking back and forth, and then you go for a sweep to get like the untackable knockdown. But it seems like in this game, sweeps are used a little bit differently.
Actually, there are different kinds of use for sweeps. You can use a sweep in a combo, but I think it's more important to use a sweep to knock the person down on the ground, so you can initiate a setup as they wake up.